Okay, we're going to call Gary.
All right, he's on.
Okay, Gary, we're dialing you now.
Let's get
Aloha, Gary. How are you this morning?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, thank you. So we're just going to explain we had some technical issues that we have cleared up. We have Gary on the phone, on a landline. Thank God we still have landlines.
Thank God she still has a landline.
In the middle of the ocean, right? But we're going to make it work.
It's a necessity here.
Yes, it is. So thank you for joining us, Mr. G.S. Pinto. And our topic today is?
What is direct democracy? So Gary, you know what? Let's just wait a couple minutes and see if some people come in. But we can just start like a little conversation. Like, I think what attracted us to direct democracy.
Really? It was the massive corruption in Hawaii and how
What?
and what we can do about it. And you know, the thing for me is we have so many, mokus, our islands, and so many issues on each island, and so many groups of people that are committed to fighting these things for years. You know, TMT's been 8 years. The water in Maui has been 15 years.
And these things shouldn't take this
No.
long when so many people want them. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous.
And even when you have, the entire community against a project or against some
like
sort of...
Kuhonua.
Right, it doesn't matter. And the other thing that happens is these, really polluting or destructive projects are brought into our communities without us even being aware of it.
Right.
Our representatives are nowhere to be found, and
Right.
we really literally get them crammed down our throats.
Right.
And, the other thing I think everybody knows is that we're the most highly taxed state in the United States, and we're just about to have several more of those thrust
GE
upon
tax
us.
just went up here in Hawaii
Property
County,
tax just
so
went up.
that money's going to the state. That
Right.
money's not going. That increase is not.
Yeah, the tax just went up, and now they're talking about a mileage tax to cover the rail, which that's just a lot of things that we'll talk about on a different.
So if you are like Anna and I, and you're fed up. Oh, by the way, I'm Tanya.
And I'm Anna. We're the Paradise
Patriots.
Y'all
So
know
if you're
that,
fed
right?
up with your representatives, at least some of the time, or most of the time, or
All of the time.
99.99% of the time, the reason we wanted to do this video, and our friend Karen Cobain introduced us to Gary Pinto from the Direct Democracy Coalition, and we've learned a lot even in the last couple
Right.
weeks. And we're super excited to share what direct democracy is
And how it can address all those issues that we just mentioned.
right.
So instead of people having to dedicate their lives to one project, we can hooey up and work together.
To get barely anywhere.
Right.
You dedicate so much time. Cannabis is a perfect example.
20,
You
30
know?
people are in.
Decades to get where we're at today, yet the people have wanted this in aggregate for so long. So thank you, Gary, for joining us. So Gary, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what Direct Democracy Coalition is?
I am a retired wounded warrior. I spent 20 years in the Army as a military police officer and a bomb dog handler. I came to a realization as I was in the wounded warrior units. I spent an ungodly amount of time. It wasn't even justified. There are 4 years in that unit recovering. And I realized, because I had nothing but time on my hands to sit down with a computer, they only allow you there to go to your doctor's appointment
so
initiative is proposed into law.
My question is, so normally what we would have to do is do that and then go to our elected representative and hope that that person fights tooth and nail for what we want.
In the indirect measure of proposing an initiative, yes, you have to get sponsorship from a legislator. And there's a direct method. If you have an initiative that checks all the blocks that nobody really cares if it gets passed or not, it's not going to hurt anybody, it's going to be good for the good of everybody. A direct initiative can go straight on the ballot and be voted for without any legislative interference, without any legislative approval. It still has to go
Okay, so there's 3 core components to direct democracy. Here in Hawaii, we do have a citizens initiative bill that's come up a couple times through Senator Russell Ruderman's office, and I believe he's going to be proposing another one this year. So we're definitely going to talk about that later on, and we'll probably stay on top of that one as well.
Right.
So the only legal way to propose a law is through a citizens initiative. The only right we have to change an existing law is through the referendum component, and the only way to recall someone who's in office is through a recall component. So, because right now, once someone gets in office, we're kind of stuck with them because of money in politics. It's very hard to turn, the tables on someone once they're kind of established, and then we're kind of screwed moving forward.
Right.
That's why you needed recall, because impeachment is a legal process requiring, judges and all this stuff. And recall is basically the citizens saying, hey, look, this guy didn't do his job. Here's the most famous recall of all time. California. Arnold Schwarzenegger replaces Gray Davis as the governor. That Gray Davis was recalled by the people.
Oh,
He had enough.
right.
Jerry Brown, he should be recalled solely for what he did with the gas tax in California. That was the most blatant robbery of the people I've ever seen in my life. But beyond that,
So you said
the
20.
other famous recall that we've had is, I don't know if you remember the kid in Texas that drove his truck through all those other kids that night. He was drunk, and the judge listened to an affluency defense.
Oh, yes, that was famous.
He was too rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Texas. That judge is gone. The people proved that judge was crooked, and that judge was influenced, violated, and you can't say a judge's oath on his sworn duty as a judge, and they recalled him. He's gone. That's the power of recall.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't see it. It doesn't get, like the mainstream media, direct democracy and the things that happen in direct democracy do not get published very well. They do not get a lot of light in mainstream media because initiative, referendum, and recall are the tools. And politicians know that these are the tools. Even the deep state, the corporations behind that know that if the people have these powers, they can no longer lobby politicians. Lobbyists won't matter because the people are going to vote on what gets the final approval of anything. It may go through cycles and cycles until it's worked out, and talking and adjustments, but it's going to work out. The people are going to do it, and the process is transparent. You can't hide it when everything goes on record for everybody to see. And I mean, I'm talking everything.
So,
Going on record, every dollar spent by the government.
so Gary, just to play devil's advocate, then there's 2 major problems with getting any kind of direct democracy initiatives happening here, and I'm going to talk specifically about Hawaii. And one is people don't know about it. People don't know what it is. People don't know it's actually a viable option for us to get back some of our power. And 2, why would any legislators in office want this?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They know. For a legislator to vote in any kind of form of direct democracy would be the equivalent of me walking into a lab and saying, infect me with cancer. Give me the fastest way to die. And I want to suffer.
Maybe that's why we like it.
Their political careers are over. Politicians, I don't know if anybody knows, if the general public knows, but if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican and you go against the party lines, they basically ostracize you. You
Right.
don't get anything
Absolutely.
for your district anymore out of them. You
Right.
got to toe the party line if you want anything for your people. It's a system that's designed to protect itself and circle its wagons around itself when it gets attacked. And that's not good business for the United States. That's not good business for any government. That is where the people get oppressed. That's where we are no longer citizens of our government. We are subjects.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
says, oh God, minority, majority rule, majority rule, majority rule. Don't you realize that right now you're all being ruled by a minority?
Right.
Corporations and the people
We
that
do.
control the government that are doing it. And everybody knows it.
Right.
It's our politicians are all afraid of doing anything about it for being singled out and ostracized from their community, losing their political career. This is the concern of the career politician. Now, if we didn't have career politicians who had term limits, oh, by the way, that Citizens Initiative is SB 2750
50, 45?
Correct? Yes, 2754.
54?
Anybody
27,
know what
54.
SB 2753 was in Hawaii?
What?
Term limits. You don't know. You didn't see it. It's stalled the same way that the Citizens Initiative is stalled. So go ahead and look up SB 2753. And you'll see.
And that's from 2017? Or
I don't
16?
believe the politicians that
16.
support direct democracy are doing it in a bad way. I believe that they have very good intentions, very, very, very good intentions, and I believe that these people are hampered by their parties, very hampered by their parties. And I believe that if there weren't party politics and there was just direct democracy and there was the people voting on everything, that bipartisanship would be gone. Corruption would disappear because basically your Senate, your House, all those representatives, they would all have to be replaced with basically administrators that do the day-to-day business of what the people need done. They will do the education. They will do the fact checking. They will
But
do
the way
checking through the judicial system. There's no place for politicians, and they're not going to want to give up their $174,000 a year job for a $30,000 a year job. They're going to go away, go back into private practice. If there's no politicians to bribe, and there's no politicians to lobby, then these people have to turn. Like, let's just say one that's famous in Hawaii, Monsanto. Monsanto will have to, if they want to lobby anybody, they're going to have to turn back and lobby the people, because the people are going to be the ones that are signing the legislation, not the politicians. So politician, basically direct democracy renders the politician useless to the lobbyist or to the big corporation. Now they have to go back to the old ways, advertise, and they have to sell our ideas to us. And in order to sell their ideas to us, they have to make sure that we're going to approve the healthiness of these ideas, and not that they can just buy a politician to push through something that's not healthy. The biggest scam in all of that was aspartame in soda as a sweetener. If you ever looked up and did your due diligence on aspartame, you would see how they bought the people that were ahead of the FDA and employed them, gave them better jobs, and they got everything pushed through for aspartame, and it's a carcinogen.
Right.
It's not good for people. It's worse than sugar. So this is what they do. They lobby behind. They do closed-door things. Kentucky and Governor Bevin and the teachers here were on strike. The teachers wanted better pay, and they went on strike. We had a big thing. Bevin went after their benefits, and he tried to do something in the middle of the night. It was like 12 o'clock at night, and he's trying to pass legislation. Now, that's ridiculous. It would never happen in a moral society where we had people and everybody watching everybody do what they do out in the open. I mean, is it going to have problems? Yeah, it's going to have problems.
Right,
and
of
it's going
course.
to have bugs. But we'll never know what they are to fix them until we actually try. I'm sorry, did I lose you?
Oh,
Not at all.
no,
Not at
we're
all.
listening.
I'm reflecting and.
I mean, does it not make sense?
Oh, it makes absolute sense. I can't see any other way to move forward.
No, direct democracy and initiative and referendum and recall are the weapons that we need to step on the battlefield to fight corruption.
Right.
And without them, you might as well just go find yourself an axe and cut your foot off, because you won't have the bullets to shoot your foot off.
Right. I agree.
That simple. It boils down to that. It's the simplest concept that you can present to somebody, yet you find a hardcore liberal, or I don't even want to say liberal, I don't want to single out the liberals, a hardcore partisan person. And their minds are so warped today on the wall, Trump, immigration, this problem, government shutdown, that problem. They've got us spinning in so many different directions. We can't get cohesiveness amongst groups of people in order to say, wait a second, stop the world, I want to get off, and I want to look at this problem from the outside, figure out where the root cause is, and that's what I want to attack.
Corruption.
So that's the coalition's mission. Yes, we are educating. We have direct democracy educating the public. Go to Facebook and look it up. It's there. Everything that happens with direct democracy, right down to the Disney folks in Florida fighting for a living wage. They exercised direct democracy against the government. They got their living wage. They won. You don't see that publicized anywhere.
Right. So I want to talk about that for a second because I think it was Anna that you found that great article last night. That here in America we feel like democracy is dying, and that it's there's less and less of it. And what democracy? Yeah.
Democracy. If you look at the definition of the word democracy, not the political definition of the word democracy. Look at the Webster's definition of democracy, and look at how democracy was viewed back when the founding fathers actually wrote the Constitution. And you're talking about two totally different pieces.
Well, so if you're talking about, and I might not even be making sense. So people that are upholding, what the founding fathers put forward, and their intention for building the governmental structures of the United States and where we are now. Because I've had people say that to me, that direct democracy is not American because we're a republic.
Right. I've had that.
I've had people.
And there's no difference. Go back and look that up too. And I don't want to say I know I sounded back then. I know I sounded like a constitutional conservative back then. I'm not. I believe in what the founding fathers did in the time that they did it in.
Yes.
Okay. Technology today, the way we're living today, we have to adjust. The Constitution of the United States has to be a living document. That's why there's amendments, for God's sakes. The first 10 amendments are your Bill of Rights.
Okay.
So we can amend constitutions and settle all of these issues. All we got to do is figure out that the big corporations that are making money don't want us to do it.
Right.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the founding fathers would be aghast to see that we haven't changed anything.
Screwing the citizen over it because they want that money in their pocket.
Right.
Kennedy's been building, the Kennedy family started career politicians when John got a toddler. He said, I'm going to put the first Catholic president in the United States. Well, there started your career, well, probably not even started. That's when I first saw how old I am. That's when I first saw career politicians or noticed it in the government, reading up on that.
Right.
There's no room for career politicians anymore. It's not a career. The founding fathers fully intended for citizens to run this country. Oh, excuse me, one second.
Can you see if there's anybody watching? If they have notifications. Oh, I understand. I do too.
Apologies.
No problem. No problem.
Totally understand. So,
I have a pack of dogs, so I rescue them.
Oh, you and I have something in common.
Oh, we love you for that. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Come on.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
For a career to go play with dogs every day.
I want your job.
Yeah, everybody does when they hear about it. That's what the kids said in the beginning. Anyway, getting back to direct democracy, I pretty much challenge people out there to tell me what's wrong with what I'm saying to you. I get the Republic, Democrat, democracy, the Republic. I get that argument all the time. You want to go back and look at it? It's semantics. There's some differences in maybe the Constitution, the way it would be. That's it. There's nothing in the United States Constitution, in any law that was ever written or dreamed of, that says we could not have a direct democracy. They chose a republic, a representative democracy.
Right.
That's what they chose back then. They were faced with a choice. They exercised democracy. They got together. They voted, and they said, this is how we're going to run our government. You had to pick one or the other. It worked for a long time until corruption came in.
Mm-hmm.
And it would continue to work. Representative government would work fine if they would outlaw lobbyists, if they would separate corporation and state, if they would continue to separate church and state, and they would do it the way that they wrote and the way that they intended it to be operated. It would be fine, but for corrupt people. Now, if you want to get away with the corruption, direct democracy is a way to get away from corruption. And the reason why it's the way is simple, because it brings everything out into the open. It shines light on everything. It is 100% transparent.
And I think the other thing about direct democracy is you can't take it for granted.
They are.
No, I know, but direct democracy.
Is the powers that were reserved for them. This is what I was talking
Right.
about when they made the decision to go to a representative government. They said, we reserve for the people the right
Correct.
of initiative, referendum, and recall to prevent an oppressive government.
Right.
There's nothing that needs to be changed in that from yesterday to today to 100 years from now. That tenet, that can remain the same.
Right. So, how many states did you say have INR, have initiative and referendum? 26?
Currently, from my research, 26 states have some form of INR. Colorado, California being the most liberal. As you can see, Colorado exercises initiative and referendum daily.
Right.
California does it whenever it's good for them. Wisconsin and Michigan just try to limit it. And if we, continue to let these governments run rampant over it, we ain't gonna have it. But I wanted to give a shout out to Evan Ravitz. He is from Boulder, Colorado. Evan just did a big campaign.
Go Boulder.
In Colorado, and he got initiative referendum and recall passed unanimously for the city of Boulder. And it could be city and not state. No, it could be city and not county. It could be county and not state.
Okay.
The individual governments have the right to implement what they want to implement. This is our in. This is the crack in the fissure that we need to exploit. Remember, I was talking about that really solid foundation we have to stand on. Well, we need to get a firm footing on that, and then get into these little fissures and cracks where there's INR and strengthen INR in those states. And we need to use INR to repeal the laws that are handcuffing and hampering INR in those states. 26 of them. And if you go to University of Southern California, INR Institute, just type INR Institute into a web search. It lists all the states and exactly what types of INR they have and how it's used. And they are linked to Ballotopedia. And that's a place where you can find a listing of all of the initiatives that were started from, I don't know, way back when in history. They keep track of it all the way up to today. If there's an initiative somewhere, it's in Ballotopedia. If there's a change to initiative somewhere, or if there is a notification to the public, a legal requirement for that notification, it's there because of the legal requirement. So you should be able to find everything right there.
Excellent.
Just
Hey,
click on your state on the INR page, and while I'm there on the University of Southern California, read the articles that Professor John Matsusaka wrote. He has been investigating direct democracy, for the last 30, 40 years, and he writes on it as he sees these people doing these things. What are the effects on the minority? What are the effects of money on INR? Money on INR is actually another big problem, but we can get into that one later if you'd like. But review what the man writes, because he totally dispels the two wolves and a sheep theory. Shoots it right out of the water. As a matter of fact, minorities, and we're not talking racial, we're talking minority in direct democracy. We say anybody who we think has the lesser amount of people on the side of the initiative. If it's the less amount of people want it, well, they're the minority. His studies have shown that the minority, 99.9% of the time, is satisfied with the outcome if direct democracy is applied right, and you allow the people to have their town halls and talk about their issues that they have with the proposed initiative before you put it in law and have to start a referendum to fix it. So it's kind of, it's down tight prior to it ever getting passed.
do you have a
Funny,
question?
think about it, don't you?
Well, I have a couple questions if I can ask them.
Oh, absolutely. I won't ramble so much.
Oh, no, you're a wealth of information. Thank you. So, when you mentioned cities, something that we probably could get moving relatively quickly would be at the county level.
Right. Honolulu has, according to the INR Institute, I want to go back and verify, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this. Honolulu at one time had an initiative proposal that was passed at some, I guess, let me rephrase that. Some counties, am I correct if I say some counties in Honolulu?
Yeah, Honolulu
BC.
is a county.
Yeah, Honolulu County.
Okay, that's what I was curious.
Yeah.
Honolulu then is the one that had at one time had initiative power. I don't know if it still does or not, and if it still does, probably citizens don't know that they have it.
Okay.
We will definitely
Yeah,
be
well-
looking that up.
And let them, I doubt that they know that, or they would have recalled the rail a long time ago.
No, they just
And the mayor.
don't have recall powers.
I mean, they would have done a citizens initiative to put the kibosh on the rails.
In the county
Seems
charter.
that the rail's a problem.
Oh, it's in the Honolulu County Charter?
I'm sorry, what was that, Gary?
I mean,
Yeah, it's the black hole of funding in Honolulu.
right. And you see, things like that shouldn't be allowed to live for 10 or 15 years. Like for instance, I'm going to use California's for example. It shouldn't have been allowed to be an issue for that long. And if there was direct democracy in the purest forms in California, and the government wouldn't regulate it so much, then the California Rail wouldn't have been a problem. That was just a bundle of corruption with a bunch of senators that wanted it to come through, congressmen that wanted it to come through their areas. So they voted in favor of the American Disabilities Act or Obamacare.
Oh, right.
Right, Obamacare it was. That's right. They voted for Obamacare in exchange for a vote to get the rail to go through their district, and that's pretty much what made it go over budget, and then it just failed. Corruption again. It all goes back to the same thing. It all goes back to the almighty dollar and the people that want to hoard the almighty dollar.
Right. So it's good at the county level. And then another question I have is, so direct democracy I know you mentioned, minorities are not necessarily a racial minority, or, you made
Not
reference.
always, but yeah, I mean, it is an issue. They're not always the minorities aren't always the issue as far as race goes. But if you look at Michigan, and you see that there's only two districts where blacks live. Well, then the poor blacks are under the new law. They're never going to get an initiative passed. They can start it all they want. This made it impossible for them to collect the proper amount of signatures. That's unconstitutional. You cannot deny anybody the right to vote. And basically, it's all about voting. So that's why I think it's going to get shot down too.
Okay, so my question I'm not sure exactly how to put this, but I would think that obviously in Hawaii we have, our Kanaka community, our Aboriginals people, or First Nations people here, and there are trust lands and crown lands. There's a lot of land issues here, ceded lands, and then there's Hawaiian homelands. And it's been an ongoing, and then there's subsistence and traditional and cultural rights, to water and so forth, that are embedded in the Constitution. So, those things currently can only be changed through a constitutional convention, which which was one of the reasons why there was so much resistance to having a constitutional convention this last voting cycle.
Right.
So I would imagine, and I know for myself, I live on Hawaiian homelands, and I'm a practitioner, so I regularly gather and access the ocean, and we're semi-subsistence, our family is. So my only concern with direct democracy would be the impacts on those struggles that we already have to hang on to what we have now.
Yeah, and that was the same concern with constitutional conventions.
Right.
Constitutional convention, everybody's afraid somebody's going to come in and change a law that pretty much they don't want changed. For
Right.
reasons like you just quoted.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the same boat with a constitutional convention as you are with putting in direct democracy. Only direct democracy can be used on a daily basis, and constitutional conventions come up every 10 years.
Yeah.
Right.
In Hawaii.
Right.
Right, but you can always get 2/3 of the population to call for a constitutional convention, which we know is not going to happen in Hawaii. Anyway, so. But direct democracy is more flexible, if you ask me, than the constitutional convention, because, and we're back to the three elements being necessary. They're necessary pieces. It's like a chamber of a three-chamber heart. One doesn't work well without the others. walking all over our heritage, and you're walking all over our rights that are outlined in our state constitution. That is where referendum is one of the most powerful tools you can have, because with referendum, it won't take 15 years to pull that initiative back, adjust it, and if it can't be adjusted to accommodate a constitutional guarantee that these people have, it's void. You go back to the drawing board and you rewrite it and you figure out how to make it so that everybody is happy about it. And if everybody's not happy about it and it doesn't get passed, well, guess what? This is democracy. You win some, you lose
Right.
some.
So the onus really comes on the people to hold the people accountable.
That's what it's all about. What do the people want?
Right.
You know, and what we want the American dream. We want the white picket fence. We want the house. We want to be able to sit on our front porch, watch our grandchildren play in the front yard, and smoke our peace pipe with whatever the hell we want to put in it. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, I want to be able to get to the ocean and get to the forest, and I want them to stay pristine. But I think that we all could agree on that as well.
Yeah.
You need to be part of the Direct Democracy for Environmental page. We got one of those too.
Well, do you have a direct democracy for Indigenous people? I belong on that page.
Well, that's going to be our page now.
It's an environmental page, and it's growing, and anybody can go there and discuss environmental concerns, because the people that actually have kind of realized what we realize know that with direct democracy they can propose these initiatives and get them into bills and get them turned into laws and signed by the governor, you know, that protects the little fishes in the streams from Monsanto.
Right. Okay, so that answered my question. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you broke right there.
Oh, no, I said you answered my question. So the Citizens Initiative movement would have the same impacts as a constitutional convention.
A con.
As a con-con.
It would have a similar impact. The Citizens Initiative that you have right now is, God, for me, it's a double-edged sword. I love the idea that people are out there talking about direct democracy. I like the things that Russell Ruderman has done, and I gotta admit, I have not studied him in detail. I really haven't had time, and I don't want to condemn, and I don't want this to turn into a condemnation party of any legislator that's actually trying to push direct democracy.
Right.
Trying to push an initiative. However, my problem with it is it falls short because it doesn't include referendum and recall.
Right.
Right now, the way that that's written, basically what the senators are telling you and what they're proposing to you is that you have the right to stand up and give us an idea. We have the right to approve it or disapprove it. And even if we write into it, there's some safeties written into it, but then again, if you watch the video of the two senators talking about it, you'll see how defensive they get over the Constitution. It doesn't allow for any state constitutional changes at all. You're not allowed. It doesn't allow for any citizen to bring an initiative up that deals with a budget. That's wrong. It's wrong, period. There's just no two ways about it. It's not right, and I'll say it now, and I'll say it forever. It's not a piece of legislation that I would support. I would like to see it go in. That's something that's really for the people, and not just something that makes them all say, yay, the government's doing something for us. They're throwing you a bone. And it's kind of an already chewed one, too. That I look at it. I don't think the people know until they actually read it that they're really not getting a lot out of it. They're not getting the true intentions of the powers that were reserved for the people. Those powers are still being hampered by your legislators. Your legislators are being hampered by the lobbyists, by big corporations. It's a bundle of dookie that rolls downhill, and it spills onto
totally understand that.
Yeah.
I do. I totally understand it. We're excited to have any of these components right now and just the opportunity to educate ourselves.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that the conversation started.
Exactly.
I love that the people are going down the right road. It's a leap and a bound for direct democracy and all the work that Karen Cobain sitting right there, aren't you?
Yes, she is.
This woman came into the coalition and blew us away with the amount of dedication that she put into it. If not for her, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in today to be talking, because she would have never met her, she would have never introduced me to you.
Right.
We wouldn't trying to be
Right.
making this better for the people. It's good for the people. I'm not going to deny that. It's very good for the people. We just need to make it better.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you to Karen and to Senator Ruderman.
You're welcome. Karen, I don't know. I couldn't do it without you. What I do. I run 50 state pages at a coalition at Direct Democracy America with a bunch of other. We got a great team of people. I don't do it by myself. Nick Greco, Doug Gustafson, Lou Botos is our guy that does all of our computer work. He's got a group of programmers and coders that he runs, and he's ready to roll out a direct democracy platform that encompasses education and voting. It's an online platform where you go and you read about these initiatives and you read the effects of legally of what they're going to do and what they're not going to do.
Right.
And it's totally an unbiased, professional, expert opinion. You have to find the experts on the topic to give the description of it to the people. And it's got to be put into plain English so they understand it. You can't throw something like SB 2754 at them and say, read this. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
They're not lawyers.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of, if you want to ask me, that's kind of what, when people say the people aren't ready for this, or the people aren't ready, that's what the people aren't ready for. They're not ready to have a bunch of legal jargon shoved down their throats. But in no way, shape, or form can anybody tell me, use the sentence, the people are not ready, because I will call you out on it every time. We are the people. And we have been ready for the last 30 years. This is a thing that started in the 70s and just been rolling on as far as the awareness and the fight against it. So here we stand. I mean, we're making the same mistakes over again. If you don't see that, just through the pure evidence of 30 years later, we're sitting in the same boat.
Right.
And 30 years later, our politicians are what? They're still ignoring us. You know what the definition of insanity is, right?
Doing this, yes,
Same
I
thing
do.
over and over
And
again.
expecting different
different
results.
results.
Expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
We're repeating the same crap over and over
Yeah.
again. This
Yeah.
is what we studied when I told you we
Absolutely.
studied direct democracy and the attempts at it. The reason why we studied it was, what are they not doing? What's not happening here that's taking this over the edge? And we came up with the two things you came up with. Education. Education and lack of public support, but they go hand in hand. The reason why there's a lack of public support is because there's a lack of education. You
Right.
open the people's eyes up and tell them, I'm going to give you the tools so that you can influence lawmaking decisions.
Right.
It's the same equivalent as if you walk up to an American today and hand him a brick of gold. That's the way I think his eyes should light up, because that's the value. It's even more valuable than that. I mean, if I had to equate it to something, okay, I'll do it. But to me, having initiative, referendum, and recall is going to be a step forward in finding the cure for corruption. It's not the cure. Direct democracy by itself is not the answer. It is a start down the road to the right answer. How the people shape direct democracy is going to be the answer, because no matter what you feel, no matter what I feel, and no matter what Karen feels right now, that all don't matter, because with direct democracy in the end, it's the will of the people, and it's going to be decided by a vote anyway. It's going to be out of our hands. You know, I'm not a dictator. I can't push direct democracy down your throat and say, you're going to do this or else.
I mean, that's true sovereignty of the people.
So I got a
And it's
feeling
scary,
what we end
but
up
it's
with out of
empowering
this
at the same
effort,
time.
out of this cause going forward, what we end up with will look nothing like what we're imagining it looks like today.
Yeah.
Because we get all those ideas from all those people, and they all get together and get on the bandwagon, and we vote on it. That's the bottom tenet of democracy, having a say, voting, debate, the right to civil disobedience. This is all going to go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Imagine right now if the Yellow Vest movement was that many people standing in front of the Capitol building on Washington yelling at everybody, you're fired.
I can imagine that.
If you're not fired, but you're going to change.
I can envision that perfectly.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
And we're telling you straight to your face, this is what we want. There's no judge in between us. There's no process between us.
Right.
There's no approval. I'm walking up on your front lawn and I'm telling you right now, this is what I want.
Hey,
Changes that would happen in America.
Gary, Karen has a question for you. What's your opinion on the California Proposition 13 amendment?
Tell me what Prop 13 is exactly.
That's the one on the taxes and the
1978.
1978.
We talking the gas tax and how those taxes are going to go?
1978.
I'm not up on Proposition 13, so I'm going to need a little more information.
We'll circle back to that then. So I have a question. So can you give us some examples of other countries that use direct democracy?
Okay, well, the prime example is Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
They have cantons. They don't have towns and stuff. They call them cantons. Switzerland's direct democracy is exactly that. It's the most purest form of direct democracy on the face of the earth right now. They have town hall meetings. They propose their ideas right there in the town hall. They deliberate. They go back. They come back. They deliberate again if they have problems. And they may deliberate a third time to work out their problems. And then they submit it and they pass it. And that's the way they do business. Period. That's the best form. That's the best way right there, if you ask me.
Hawaii's small
People
enough
say
to do stuff like that.
it's because they're very small.
Right.
Very homogeneous population, and they can get it done a lot easier. Well, I call that out too. So, because direct democracy is going to work the same way. We're going to work in our towns, we're going to work in our cities, and then we're going to work with those cities and those towns together at the state level, and we're going to work with all them states together at the federal level. We're just a bigger network of the same thing Switzerland's doing. There's no reason why it can't grow. Who else? Let's see.
Taiwan.
Actual direct democracy is there's not another pure form of direct democracy that I know of. There's governments that allow the citizens to participate at different levels and at different depths.
Karen's asking about Taiwan.
Kind of limits it, but here's the thing: every government out there, the people are fighting against for it. And the examples there are easy. Look at Italy. Italy is actually fighting for direct democracy, and they're criticizing Macron for what he's doing in France. There's a young guy that just came up in Austria, and he's a direct democracy advocate. Look for Austria to be changing their government drastically in the next 5 years. Look for those changes to be coming down the pike. We in the coalition have, oh my God, we just got Norway last night. One of the direct democracy guys from Norway came in, brought his group to the coalition. Roman Light is the leader of the French Yellow Vest RIC movement, referendum. It translates to citizen-driven referendum. And they're here, and he's trying to change France. Yeah, these are just groups. This is not a whole government, that's operating against, or a whole big cause that's operating against. It's a bunch of groups together. So, but let me think of some other ones. Right off the top of my head, I don't remember.
No, I think that's good, just so people understand.
I've really been devoting my time towards the Hawaii stuff right now.
Right. Well, and this is a global movement, it seems.
Oh, it's global. It's global. Like I said, it's global with the Yellow Vest. It's global with you look up some of the sites. Karen just composed a list. Matter of fact, she's even better to answer this question than I am because she made the list that we have published on the coalition of all the direct democracy groups that we could possibly find just on Facebook, and we're adding some off the internet now. So just in social media, actually. The last time I looked, her Excel spreadsheet with spaces had something like almost 200 lines on it.
Wow.
And I got to remember 50 of those groups were the United States. Each state
Okay,
has
right.
a group itself. But yeah, the movement's showing. You got guys like Julian Johannesson in Sweden right now. He runs World Direct Democracy. You got Stephanie Paddock. She runs the International Direct Democracy Group. Nick Greco runs the Canadian group. I pretty much moderate over the American stuff, but I have a lot of people that help me. And Roman Light, he's in France. These are the guys that are coming, just up to my head right now, ones that I talk to the most on. I try not to keep notes in front of me when I do these talks. I like to do them right out of my memory. Yeah, the movement is global, and it's coming, and you're going to see it. It's just not going to be publicized. Mainstream media is too far
Right.
left to publicize what we're doing because they consider it way too far right.
They consider it far right. I find that. Wow.
The constitutional conservatives hate us. They're the ones that want to. They don't want a constitution to change from the 1770 whatever. They don't want it to change. They just want it to stay the same and everybody to abide by it and live kumbaya.
Yeah, because status quo is really working.
We get liberals. We have a libertarian party right now that we're supporting for President of the United States in 2020 just because they're for INR. We have a Democrat here in Kentucky that's running for governor. And we support him because he's running on an INR platform. He wants INR. I don't care what party you're from, really. We're going to support you. And yeah, it's not too far. It's not that they think we're too far right. I think they think more or less that less government, less government, less government. And we're looking like putting the government in the hands of the people. There's conflict. It's conflicting with them. Again, it goes to ideologies. In this particular instance, do you know how hard it is to change somebody's mind when it comes to a political ideology?
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to even talk to them about it without even trying to change their mind? Say, hey, take a look at this. Look at this direct democracy thing. Oh, God, you're into that. You're crazy. This is going to fail. It'll never work. In the coalition, we look for people with open minds to come in and listen to these people. Listen to... When I was listening to a guy in Hawaii the other day, he's an existentialist. You know him. His name's Bo. I won't say his last name over. I was talking to him, and boy, did he have a lot to say the other day. I'm going off on a tangent here.
No, and I think I know who that is.
He
And
wants everybody living kumbaya
yeah.
in moderation with nature and being morally right, and a morality change to the government rather than a big direct democracy change to the government. And a lot of people don't realize your morality changes. That's not going to happen in government.
Right.
But I don't know it all. I'll tell you that right off the bat. I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers. I know what's a good direction to proceed in, and I try my best to involve the people that have been in direct democracy for a while. Like you got a guy, Paul Jacob. He runs a citizens group, and he's been at this direct democracy thing for 30 years or better. He was one of the right-hand men for Mike Gravel when Senator Gravel proposed his constitutional amendment for the United States. He was there. He's still working on this stuff. And poor Evan Raddatz, direct democracy has beat this man up, and he's still plugging for it. And these are the people that know a lot more than I do, and these are the people that I go to for my answers.
So, hey, real quick on that.
I can't give you the answer to it. I'll tell you, I don't know, rather than try to make something up.
So, real quick on that, you mentioned, Gary.
I don't know where we're going.
There is a bill in the U.S. Senate for a national direct democracy initiative. There was at one point.
No longer valid. If you look up, I'll send you the link if you want. It's the oh shit, let me look it up for you really quick. It's the National Citizens Initiative for Direct Democracy.
Okay. Don't worry, I'll Google
If you
that.
look it up, you can also look up under the number 4D on Facebook. There's been 3 iterations of this. Okay. Mike Gravel started the NI4D as a website. You're going to see it come up as a website.
Yeah, I did.
Some of the links I sent you.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and they wrote it with that in mind. So here you have an example of a piece of legislation that is working with the government. And he writes a lot on his site about how he chose not to pursue Article 5 and try to do it that way, change the Constitution. That he wanted to propose this initiative. And in general, it was to try to make everybody happy at the same time. Let's give the people what they want because we are the government, we are the representatives. Let's give them what they want and let's maintain control at the same time. So that this doesn't turn into a total, we're going to change government's catastrophe and everything just falls apart, which is what a lot of people are afraid of. A lot of people come to us and say, if you change over to a direct democracy, it's going to be such chaos that we can't run the country. No, I don't think so. But that falls into the category.
I don't know. I think we're there right now. I think we're there right now. We're in total chaos.
And prepare for it. We can adjust so that it doesn't happen. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, we're in total chaos right now, and they're not running the government. The people running the government aren't running the government.
Yeah, they give the impression to the people. That's
So.
the problem. See, as long as Americans have the ability to survive, they seem to settle into a groove and say, I don't want to change anything because I'm afraid it's going to get worse than it already is. That's the biggest fear in America, if you ask me.
Right.
Don't let me open my mouth. I don't want to be the one that gets singled out.
Right.
Don't let me make noise because the squeaky wheel is going to get the bad oil. That kind of an attitude.
Yeah. We don't have that attitude here at the Paradise Patriots.
Why? Because right now they make enough money to put food on the table, feed their kids, and send them to school. And they do not care about the rest of the people that don't have that ability.
Right.
So, Gary, one question that has come up. I'm looking through our feed. We have Frankie, who has stated we already have sort of a initiative at the county level. But her statement is, if you think you're going to get that passed at the legislative level, at the state level, you're crazy. It'll never happen. That's.
Okay, see that kind of an attitude? I get you. I hear you loud and clear.
You must hear that every day.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Hear it every day. Here's how it's going to happen.
Okay.
This is one of the things I said going back to the research. When we researched it, what was wrong? Why did it not succeed? Support from the people due to lack of education. Support from the people. Well, here we are. We're 30 years down the road. We have all of this technology available to us. All right? And technology itself is pretty much wiped out some of the cons that were of direct democracy that were back 10, 20, 30 years ago. And we have the ability to do this. All we need is for people like her to just say, it might not work, but I'm willing to give it a shot because I see the rise in interest of direct democracy. As people are ready, you need a group of people to get behind us. I was told Hawaii and I've been posting. I was like, look, we got these guys we need on board. We got examples of what we need to do on board. We've got communications going. We are advertising. We're on the radio. We're on the TV. We need people now to just get behind us and say, you know what? I'll put my name to that. I'll put my signature on it. I'll put my support behind it. Once the people put their support behind it, you have to remember, your elected officials have to do the will of the people. Granted, corruption screws all that up. But this is something I always say that kind of can explain it. Here's the old saying, power to the people, power to the people, power to the people. That's a crock. You shouldn't even say that anymore. The people are the power.
Right.
And they have been the power
Yep.
in the first place since forever. They
Yep.
just don't know the power they have if they get together and stand up. It goes back to the old, united we stand, divided we fall. And if Hawaii doesn't get together on it this time, it's going to fail. We know that. If Hawaii passes what they have right now in there as of 2016, I can't find anything for 2018, but if you pass something that you have right now in 2016, you're going to pass basically nothing. Because what you get is going to be stifled in the long run.
Well, we can always propose amendments and we can propose additional bills.
At it, and the whole country's watching you.
Yeah, I get that.
I get that though too. I do understand that.
Yeah.
We are watching you. We are praying. Now, as far as that girl's comment, do we really think that it's going to happen overnight? No. Nothing is going to happen overnight with the current government we have. So we know that it's going to take multiple attempts.
Right.
And each attempt is going to garner more support from
Right.
the public.
Right.
The more education, the more advertising we do, the more fishing of men that we do to this cause, the more successful we're going to be.
Right.
This is why the coalition's going worldwide. We're taking in everybody and anybody that wants to fight for I&R anywhere in the world that they want to do
Right.
this fight.
And we can learn
And
from
we
each
want to
other.
help them in any way, shape, or form that we can. It's a good fight. And I'm doing it for my children and my grandchildren and myself. I don't think I'm going to benefit from any of this for a second.
Well,
We are.
I think we will. And if
We
I'm
are.
crazy optimistic, that's okay, but I think it's only because of the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the timing is getting better and better.
Yeah,
Because people are waking up, and the
Yeah.
only reason why people are waking up is because now all of this crap that's going on in government is behind the scenes is spilling out.
Right.
Oh.
yeah.
The war that Trump is having with these people in the scenes and behind the scenes
They love showing it to us.
to the public.
And just
They're not even
rapid
embarrassed.
corruption and the beating of the war
They're not
drums
even
and-
embarrassed.
Yeah, and people are sick of it,
No, that's
so.
the thing. Look at Cory Booker.
Yeah.
Oh.
Guy from my own home state in New Jersey where I grew up.
Oh, that
He's
guy.
not even ashamed to open his mouth and spout some of the stuff he spouts.
Yeah.
It's and Maxine Waters and all that stuff back then. It just it embarrasses me to be
Yeah.
part of that government. It embarrasses me that I actually put that uniform on and did what I did for them.
Well,
So
It's a
there's no way to
consciousness
conduct
of
themselves. It used to be gentlemen rules in Congress. When you were together
that's
with
fun.
other men and leave the business of the country. It's not like that today. It's
No.
cutthroat. They're back there in the back and they're saying, well, what can we do to this guy? Where is in his past that we can bring up and threaten him with to shut him down? You know, come on, people. When did we devolve to something like that? What happened? Where is our honor?
I agree.
I agree. Wow, Gary, thank you so much. You've been a wealth of information.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I will take any podium I can get anywhere.
We'll definitely have you back.
We'll have you back.
You
And
all have a great, I guess, afternoon there now.
No, it's still morning here. We're gonna do, yeah.
It's 4 o'clock here. My wife's looking at me funny because I know it's shopping day.
Oh, okay, well, we'll let you go.
Well,
All right, folks.
thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
I'll see you on the battlefield.
Oh, yes,
All right.
absolutely. Aloha.
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 Wow. Wow, that was a lot.
That was a lot.
I hope that everyone who was watching and will watch when we post the video really enjoys the conversation, you know, and just the
Take it to heart. It's,
opportunity that's presented before us, thanks to Senator Runerman, Senator
Karen.
Thielen, and Karen Cobain and her group, and Brent Norris and everyone else on that group. It's time for us to really look at this opportunity and see what we can do here in Hawaii. We are a small state, and we can make this happen.
I agree.
We can make this happen, and we do have the power. All we need to do is claim it now.
And you know, as I said earlier, and I think it's a nice way to close this, is so many of our mokus have fought for so long for water, for affordable housing, for affordable health care, jobs. He brought up an excellent point of the impacts of Monsanto and other toxic and polluting projects that come to our islands without us even knowing it, and many of us have spent our lives fighting.
And we have a unique problem here in our state because we're made up of different islands, physically
Right.
separated,
Mhm.
and Oahu makes so many decisions,
On our,
and we got legislators coming here, bringing people here, bringing, opportunities here that we don't want,
right.
unbeknownst even to some of our legislators,
Right.
and certainly not the people. And so this is not okay anymore. And at some point we got to say enough is enough. And where are our channels? Where are the real inroads?
Where are our tools?
Where are our tools?
Teeth?
Right.
Teeth are in
Our
my
teeth
opinion.
are in referendum, recall, and citizens initiative.
Right. And it crosses all constituencies, in my opinion. It's like you have the Native Hawaiian, where of course a lot of my energy goes to our issues, environmental issues. They overlap, but then there's issues that are on their own. I even think of my, and I'm involved in that as well, animal rescue and the protections of animals and their environment and their habitat, and that they're properly taken care of. We just had a thing where we just had a factory farm come here that polluted our streams and ocean, and now Waipahu, I think, is having a similar issue. So there's all of these things that there's so many stratas that would be able to benefit from a thing like an initiative.
Yeah.
That you don't have all of these independent groups having to fight on their own, and all of this sort of separation that we have right now in different, when you're in a different community or you're in a different group that's really focusing on fighting back against, now we have the bottled water company that wants to come here and
Spaceport.
take our water, our spaceport, all of those other
PGV.
things that
There's so much here.
that different groups have to steel themselves against and fight for sometimes decades. Where our entire community to get together, put the referendum together, we might have
Paying
a
our
fight.
teachers.
It's endless.
It is endless. And we shouldn't have to fight like this and use
Right.
all of our time,
Our
and
lives.
all of our lives.
Our lives.
We are missing out on enjoying time with the
Yeah.
people we love because we're fighting for these things that have to be won.
and
we have to
it
reclaim
falls
our
on
lives back.
You're right about that. And the other thing is that it falls on only a certain sector of people that, get over one fight and then have to get themselves involved in another one. And I think of who I think of as Pua Case, who's given up how many years of her life, her career, other things that she's had to sacrifice and her family sacrifice. Whether you are for TMT or not, it's become
Just what you have to go through.
yeah, the toll it takes on your family and your career if you have one, and the enjoyment that you have in your life. I'm not saying she's not enjoying or dedicated to what she's doing, but it shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't be
It
that
shouldn't
way.
be. I think Auntie Mackie, who's fought for 50 years, starting at Kaho'olawe.
Food
moving
sovereignty
forward.
alone.
It's just endless.
How we use our lands,
Yeah.
agriculture,
Right.
seeded lands. It's just
Those
it
could be
goes on and
those
on
could be
and on.
initiatives. Those could be initiatives,
Mm-hmm.
and an entire, ohana of all of our islands could move that through. So
And truly, once we get a citizens initiative,
Yeah.
everything could shift.
right, and we can
Everything
work
could begin
together.
to shift. And the bottom line is, we do all agree at the baseline
Of
to get the
specific
corruption out, not just of the elections and the elected officials, but the bureaucrats that are appointed.
Right,
I mean,
lobbying.
and the lobbyists, all of that. Those are our biggest obstacles, and everybody can agree on that.
And everybody can agree that we should feed ourselves, and everybody can agree that our environment should stay pristine.
We should have clean air,
Our
clean
homeless
water.
people should be. It shouldn't been taking 20 years to put housing
Right.
together for our homeless fans. Those are bottom line things that yes, we all do agree on.
Yeah.
So, and this is a way to move that, even if we have to take time to get this installed. It's the mechanism that we need to take care of everything and to stop the onslaught as well.
Yeah.
To stop the onslaught of continually fighting off
The
representatives that don't represent us.
Right, they don't, and they're just
Yeah.
pillaging
And plundering.
and yeah.
So
Wow, so I hope everyone enjoyed this conversation. Feel free to message us. We definitely are taking this to heart.
Yes, we're going to
And-
be moving. This is going to be our not project. It's going to be our Kuleana. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm offering you different like it's their Kuleana, right?
Did you just offer me up on some sort of sacrificial altar?
You know how
of
that is.
some
Once
kind?
you book us something, you got to follow through on it. So like, make sure you're ready.
Yes, and we're gonna have fun doing this one.
I believe so.
We have fun doing everything somehow.
Yeah. At least.
Even when we're ranting and raving and screaming, we're still somehow having fun doing it. Well, thank you, Karen Cobain, who
Thank you, Karen.
didn't come on screen, but she's definitely been here. And thanks for all the work that you've done for this initiative. Thank you, Senator Ruderman, and thank you, Gary. And we will be back soon. I'm Tanya.
And I'm Anna.
And we're the Paradise Patriots. Aloha.
Aloha.
Ah, da, 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 da.